Hey, everybody. You are here with me, Jermaine Jackson, and you are on the podcast Conversations with 3J, formerly known as the New Beginnings Podcast with Jay Jackson. I decided to change up the name of the podcast because one thing I love in life is just having conversations. I feel that the power of a conversation, you can learn about people, you can discover new things, you can enlighten your mind. You can be encouraged. There are just so many things that we discover through the power of a simple conversation. And I know that I've been away from the podcast for a while, and I just want to jump on to just, get back into the groove of thing and to discuss my time away. So truly life had been lifing, but I want to talk about processing today. Processing, taking the time to think, to meditate, to be honest about your feelings, your thoughts about any particular situation. In November of this year, my oldest and first nephew passed away. We were literally 9 years apart, was like a brother to me in some instances, almost like a son, had a hand in raising him, bringing him up, passed away unexpectedly and tragically. And I'm on here to speak to that person that doesn't do well with processing when people leave here. I'm one of those people that in my life, I've lost parents, grandparents, aunties, uncles, even lost a sibling, friends, loved ones. Losing people is not something that's foreign to me, but I'm a person that I do not like to process. I don't like crying. I don't want to grieve. I kind of just want to accept it. People leave here. Let's get to the services, get through it, shed a couple tears, then I got to move on with life. But I'm realizing that I'm at a point in my life where that's not sustainable, because I found myself later on in life truly grieving because I didn't take the time in the moment when people left here to truly cry, to truly allow myself to be in pain, to allow myself to feel that hurt. And when I lost my nephew, that was a time where I allowed myself to hurt. I allowed myself to process. I said, I'm not finna allow myself to just push through this, to try to be stronger than I need to be. I didn't want to be strong. I didn't want to seem like I had it all together, because I didn't. And to that person that doesn't do well with these things, I want to encourage you to allow yourself to process. Allow yourself to think and reflect. Don't try to push past. Don't try to force yourself because you don't want to feel. And definitely, I'm not regulating when anybody does. Even indulging in certain activities or substances, when all that clears from your system, the pain and the reality of that person not being there is still there. That doesn't cause it to go away. I've heard the things of, that numbs the pain, but those can have different effects if you continue to overindulge in those type of things, to not deal with the pain of losing someone. So in that processing, I believe that I took some months, just a lot of personal reflection. I thank God for my nephew and what he meant to me, what he meant to our family, and everything that he was. He was a great man, one of my favorite football players for the athletic career he had. But I took time to process. As being the uncle, you don't never expect to see your little nieces and nephews to go before you. So it was a hard moment for him, his siblings, his family, his children. It was crazy. But I just want to speak to that one today. Allow yourself to process. When you lose things, and that's not just people. You could lose a job. You could lose an opportunity. You might lose something. I don't know. Forget your keys around the house. Who knows? But allow yourself to process. I'm learning in life that sometimes I have to just sit down and process. I have to sit down and think. One of the ways I think and process, usually about, when like my family's kind of settled down for the night, everybody's kind of gone to their respective rooms and getting ready to go to sleep, I'll sit in my living room. Not because I don't want to be around nobody, but it's in that hour of the night when I can process, when everything's quiet, everything's settled, and I begin to reflect through my day. And I find myself more in life because I'm a worker, I'm a mover. I always got something going on and something that I'm doing. But I'm learning to take a step back to reflect on my day, reflect on my decisions, reflect on my feelings. Why am I feeling sad at this moment? Why am I feeling happy? Why am I frustrated? Why am I stressed? What caused me to get to this point? Instead of taking my feelings, just saying, you know what? It doesn't matter how I feel. I still got to work. I still got to do. No, my feelings matter. My emotions matter. My thoughts matter. Even sometimes if no one else is willing to listen to how I feel, it matters to me. So even if I can't get someone else to listen, I need to process. I need to see, do I even want to speak to someone? Do I even want someone's comfort in this moment? Because sometimes you could be hurting and in pain, depressed, and you really don't want nobody hugging you, giving you words of comfort. And I'm not saying stay there, go down some deep, dark hole of depression, but I just need time for me to process, for me to think about this. So I've been away, I've been processing, but I have started my journey to healing. One thing that I focused on, the loss of my nephew, I focused on all the good times we had. His laugh, his personality, his words, his jokes, just everything about him. And that leads me to this. One of the greatest lessons that I ever got in my life recently was from my nephew, the one that passed on. He gave me a great lesson in love. We had a situation once. I went by to go see him, visit him one day. You know, we used to dap up, hug, but this day I wasn't really about the warm embrace. If anybody knows me, I'm not a super hugger like that. I will hug people, tell them I love them, but it's not my preference. But I'm getting better, and I'm gonna tell you why. Kind of, gave him like a little half hug, what up, nephew? Because my thing was always, man, we got to be tough. It's kind of how I influenced him and raised him in his life. My nephew stepped back and said, man, what's going on with that, man? What's up? I can't get no real hug. What's good? And I'm sitting there like, why is he tripping? So I gave him a full embrace. Man, I love you, Uncle. I said, I love you too. And in my mind, you should know that I love you. I'm your uncle. I've been in your life all these years. You should know that I love you. But what I learned in that moment was we shouldn't just assume that people love us. Love is a word of action. It's a word of expression. Sometimes and I'm not going to say sometimes, it's all the time now because I'm learning. Hugs, telling you I love you is necessary. We just can't assume somebody's going to be here one day and they'll be there tomorrow. And what he taught me after that moment, as I went back home and reflected on it, my nephew taught me all the time, every time is a good time to let the other person know that you love them. Family, friends, associates, every opportunity, especially with our family, that we get the chance to tell somebody that I love them. You could call me, have a conversation. Maybe you needed some advice about something. But before I get off that phone, hey, bro, hey, sis, I love you. Hey, niece, nephew, I love you. Because I don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. It's not promised to any of us. And I'm not saying this to make anybody sad, but it's just the reality of the life we live in. This life is but a vapor. We're here today and gone tomorrow. We have to be grateful for the people we have and the gift in those people that we have. And we have to cherish one another. So that lesson from my nephew taught me I got to love more. As I was processing and reflecting on him not being here, even though I feel that I've gotten better, I still got some work to do. I need to say I love you more. I need to hug and embrace more and show that. And a lot of my family know that I love them by the things I do, the things I say, but I need to just verbally say it. I need to give more hugs. I need to check in more. 9 times out of 10, if you need me for something, I'm there for you. I think I do generous acts, but I don't need to get content in what I've done. I can do better. And I never got the opportunity to tell my nephew how grateful I was for that lesson, because my nephew was a manly man, tough guy, but he was one of the most loving, compassionate people that I've ever met. And sometimes, depending on the generation you are born in, they teach that a man isn't supposed to be that way. I believe a man is supposed to be a man by all means. Don't get me wrong. And depending on where you came from, what your culture is, what your status is, there's different views about that. But a lot of times through society, it's been taught. But a lot of times in society, it has been taught that a man ain't supposed to cry, a man's not supposed to hug, a man not supposed to be affectionate. And I believe that. I really did. But as I'm growing, maturing, and processing, when it comes to being affectionate, when it comes to crying, when it comes to saying uplifting words of affirmation, it's not based off if I'm a male, if I'm a female. It's just what we should do as human beings. We're going to have moments where we're hurting in pain to the point where we're crying. We're going to have moments where somebody can express words to us that are so uplifting, that are so inspirational, that are so considerate and caring. It makes me cry, not because I'm sad, because I know that person loves and cares about me so much that it moves me to tears. As human beings, we should exchange and have words of encouragement to one another. And sometimes we're going to have moments where your words of correction may hurt me to the point of tears, but you're not correcting me because you dislike me, but you're telling me something to help me correct my behavior, my speech, my thoughts. And you love me enough to tell me the truth. And sometimes the truth hurts. So I've learned that the more that I express love, the more that I show actions and affections of love, it doesn't make me any less of a man. But all it's doing is showing me that I'm tapping into a side of me, the human side of me, that I don't have to fit societal norms, but I have to be a genuine person that loves and cares for others. So as we start this first, kind of season podcast of Conversation with JJ, this is how I wanted to start it off. Remember the process. Don't nullify your feelings, your emotions, your thoughts. Take time to think and reflect on your actions, on your words, whether you lose someone. And I'm not just talking about death here. I'm talking about everything in life. Let's not get so busy in life that we never take the time to process and reflect on just everything. I know we're all busy. We all got things to do. There's a lot going on in the world. But take a moment to process. And then secondly, love on somebody. Don't forsake the opportunity to tell somebody, I love you. I appreciate you. I thank you. Don't forsake the opportunity to give somebody a hug. Just don't forsake the opportunity to show love. It's real to be able to have someone to love, to have someone to love you. Don't walk away from meetings and gatherings and social events and say, it was good seeing such and such. I can't wait to see them next week. That's not guaranteed. We don't know. But let me take that moment right there and then to show you how much I love you. And thirdly, give people their flowers while they are alive. Let's not wait till that last moment. Show people you appreciate them. Show them you're proud of their accomplishments and everything they achieved even now. Let them know that I'm proud of what you're doing and I'm glad that life is going well for you. Tell people congratulations. Tell people I'm glad you're doing great in life. If we want to move it a step further, how can I be a part of what you're doing? If there's anything I can do to help, whether I just show up, whether I invest, whether I do, let's show up for others. Let's be intentional and being there for others. So that's it here on this first episode of Conversations with JJ. Be prepared to look for more conversations with me, more interviews as I interview other people. Be prepared for more of the Bible teachings, words of wisdom, knowledge, whatever it is that I have. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk. Because in the conversation, you can learn, you can grow, you can change, you can adapt, all from a simple conversation. Peace and blessings to each and every one of you. Remember, process, love, give people their flowers, show up for them, and I promise you, you'll walk away feeling better. See y'all next time.